Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to my video. All right, I just want to give you guys a quick tip. If you guys have this issue, it's pretty distressing, to be honest with you, because I had this issue a couple days ago. I'm just going to give you a little bit of background and the fix that you could do to get you going. It's easy. You guys have a no crank, no start issue. There's so many things that could cause that problem, but if this is your scenario, you might be able to get your car started and on your way. If you're able to, well, you know what? Even if you don't replace the part, you might be able to get to get it started. But let me just give you some background on my situation. All right, I haven't had any issues with my car for a good while. I'd say like last time I had any issues on the car was maybe the battery was bad. I had to change it out, and that was like 7 months ago. So about 3 days ago, I experienced this situation. I drove the car all day. It was fine. Went to Wendy's to get dinner, and then when I came out, got to my car, tried to start it, it wouldn't start. There was no crank, no start. Everything else turned on. No crank, no start situation. Now, if you guys know about these no crank, no start situation, the difference between crank, no start, no crank, no start, there's a bunch of scenarios that you would probably go down a list of scenarios to try to fix it, etc., etc. Now, in this situation, obviously, I was thinking maybe it's the battery, maybe it's the starter. So, I would say, you know what, if it was a dead battery for whatever reason, I know I changed out the battery about 7 months ago. If the battery, there's a chance that the battery could go bad. Some of the cells went bad, and I got no crank out of it. Normally with a low battery, you would get like a slow crank. If it's almost dead, you would get a no crank. Even if the lights on the dash work, even if your remote works, you can get in the car, you can try to turn it on, and even though the lights come on, if the battery was low enough, it would not generate enough power to start, to get the starter to crank. So obviously that's my first thing to look for, and I looked at the battery, and just to make sure that the cables were clean, because I did clean them before I popped it on 7 months ago. Got a battery from Walmart, did some reviews on those. I did clean the terminals. Like I got a chance to clean the terminal, gave me a chance to clean the terminals, got a chance for me to tighten my terminals when I changed up the new battery. The old battery I had so much corrosion on there. There was bluish, whitish corrosion on there. Used a metal brush to clean it up, and the terminals looked good. They were tight. So I turned on my headlights just to see whether it was the battery or not, but the headlights were pretty bright. So the headlights were pretty bright, and I was thinking to myself, it's probably not the battery, because the headlights were bright enough that it would I would at least, if the battery was low, I would at least get some kind of a slow crank or something from it, like at least a bunch of firing clicks, click, 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 click. That would be the relay or the solenoid going off on the starter, and I heard nothing. It was dead. But all the lights went on, the blower motor worked, everything else worked. So at that point, I was moving on to what could be, to what could cause something like this. And I was thinking to myself, well, could it be any bit of a power issue? So and this is just what I normally regularly do. As far as troubleshooting is concerned, if I have, when I have one of these the rare occasion I have one of these issues, you know, you just go through step by step. All right, so looked at the negative ground wire, see if it was directly connected to the frame, and that there was no corrosion on there. That was good. I knew it wasn't the alternator. I didn't have a check engine light. I know for a fact I didn't have a check engine light when I parked it before this happened, but I could rule out all the other stuff like the mass airflow sensor, the crankshaft position sensor, all those sensors. If there was an issue, you would get a crank no start situation, not a no crank no start situation. So basically in this situation, I was thinking a couple of things. It could be the starter, it could be the starter relay, so it could be something in the fuse box. So that was my next step. After all this, I pretty much, now I didn't get a jump or anything like that, but just from previous experiences with this, I ruled out the battery and any kind of power issue, and I also so I went to the fuse box, checked out the fuses. I didn't have a fuse tester on me, but I was looking at the fuses just to make sure that none of them looked like they're burnt and didn't smell any kind of burnt, anything that was burnt. All right. Now, this is just observing. All right. This is not me testing it out. This is just observing. Everything looked fine. At that point, I was looking at the, I was thinking could be the starter. I was thinking it could be the relay. Now, normally what happens is, normally what happens is that the relay would click. And I thought it might have been the relay. I thought it might have been the relay because it did not click. So what I did was I actually swapped out the relay. There was a relay, same numbers. I forget exactly what that relay was for, but it was for something that was innocuous. I don't know, the blower motor relay or whatever it was. I swapped it out and just got the same situation where there was no click. So the chances of two relays going out is virtually zero. So I could rule out the relay itself. At that point, I was thinking it was probably the starter that was the problem, because, but then again, I was thinking it could be the starter, but I was not hearing any kind of clicks from the relay, and that actually got me thinking, because normally even if the starter was just absolutely out, the relay would actually click. So at that point, I was thinking to myself, what else could it be? And like you guys, I'm like searching for any kind of troubleshooting tips and stuff like that online on YouTube or whatever, and I came across something to do with the brake switch. So essentially, if you guys have push start, that brake switch, it needs to be read that the brake switch needs to work, and the brake switch is located obviously on top of the brake. It's removable. All you gotta do is just twist it, etc., etc. Came across somebody saying that they had a no crank no start with power, and what they did was they took the brake switch out and forgot what they actually did. I think they cleaned it or something like that. They took it out and they put it back in, and I actually did that, and it really didn't do anything. To be honest, I did that a couple of times, took it out, pressed it with my hand a couple of times, put it back in, try to pop the plug out, put the plug back in. Thought maybe it was something to do with the plug. Really didn't do anything, and I was scratching my head over what else it could be. But it actually occurred to me that the brake switch also it actually causes the brake light to shine. So I actually asked somebody to check out my brake lights to see whether it was on when I pressed the brakes. I pressed the brakes, and it told me that there was nothing. There was nothing. There was no brake light. So at that point, I knew that if you guys have this situation and you guys are wondering whether it's the brake switch that's the problem, just have somebody stand behind while you press on the brakes. And normally, if the brake switch is working correctly, you would get the rear brakes illuminating. Now, the only other time that wouldn't happen is if you have a blown fuse, or obviously a blown bulbs. But I knew I didn't have any issues with the bulbs, or at least I knew I wasn't. I took a guess that I didn't have any issues with the bulbs at all. There's a rare chance that I would have this issue and then have the brakes go out, both brake lights go out. So I was thinking to myself, all right, it's probably the brake switch. It's probably the brake switch that needs to be replaced, because it's just completely malfunctioning. So I took a Uber to an AutoZone, and I got the brake switch from AutoZone. Took the old brake switch out, plugged put in the new brake switch, plugged it in, and then I tried to start it, and guess what, guys? It actually did start up. It started up, and it started up ever since. It was an easy fix. I thought I might have needed to get a tow truck and spend an hour and a half waiting, and it was a pretty fast and simple fix. If you guys have this same situation, definitely try to figure out if it is a brake switch. And like I said, have somebody stand behind the car just to see whether the brake lights work when you press on the brakes. If they don't work, chances are good that it's probably your brake switch that needs to replace. In a situation like this, where there is a no crank, no start, yet you get power to everything and you don't hear the star relay going off when you try to start it. Now, keep in mind that these situations, there are so many other things that could cause a situation like this. But if you're lucky enough to have that kind of simple fix for this situation that you are in, definitely test that out and fix it if that's what's causing your problem. And you'll save yourself a lot of frustration and headaches on this. So if you guys have any questions on this, definitely leave a question in the comments section. Please subscribe. If you guys have any of your own personal opinions, any of your own personal experiences with this situation, definitely leave a comment in the comment section. It might help somebody else out with their own personal situation. All right, guys. Hope that this has helped you guys out. And take care. All right, guys.